In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at the custom shooting modes C1, C2, and C3. And you'll find these on your mode dial on Canon models that have a mode dial on the top, or on the Canon EOS R, you have to press mode and get into your shooting modes to find those custom shooting modes. The custom shooting modes C1, C2, and C3 allow you to save specific shooting settings for quick access when you're shooting photos or video. So if you're an event photographer, you might switch to C1 for the indoor part of your shoot, C2 for the outdoor part of your shoot, and maybe you set C3 for settings that you are using with a flash. To set up your custom shooting modes, what you need to do is, first of all, to set up the actual shooting settings that you want to use in either photo or video. So the first thing you need to do is to go into the manual mode of whatever you are shooting, whether it's video mode in this case, or you are shooting photos, that will be the manual mode. But let's go into our video mode just to show you what you need to do. And so I want to shoot 4K video, so I go into my movie recording size. Let's say I want to shoot 4K all I, which is the highest quality. And then what else do I want? I want to shoot in log. So I go down to log settings and I switch that on. And then what else do I want? I want to change my white balance to daylight. So those three settings. And I go out of here, and so if I press info, you can see all my settings, my 4K video, C log, and the white balance. The next thing you do is go back into the menu, tap info to go to the fourth icon, which is the wrench icon, and then you want to go to the sixth tab, and you want to go to the second item here, custom shooting mode, and then you want to register your settings. So you go register settings and you select where you want to register those settings. And so in my case, it's going to be custom shooting mode 1. I go OK to accept that. And so if I go out of here and I go back to my mode, you can see C1 now says manual. So whenever I want to shoot using my 4K shooting mode, I go to C1 and select that. Let's do the same thing. Let's say for the second custom shooting mode, I want to do high frame rate shooting for slow motion. So I go back to my camera icon here, and for movie recording quality, I am going to go with high frame rate. So I'm going to enable high frame rate, enable that, and so you can see it's now 100 frames per second, and that's the maximum amount of time. Go menu, and let's say I do not want it to be in log, so I'm going to switch log off just for example. And then I'll change my white balance to something else just for you to see. Let's put tungsten light. Then I go OK. So now we have 100p, and you have tungsten light as the white balance, and there's no log. So what I do is I go again back here, go to the sixth item, custom, register settings, and then this time I'm going to register it to C2, and I go menu. So that's now registered to C2. So now when I go to my mode, you can see C2 also now says M. C3 is still not registered with anything, and so the default on this camera is the program mode for both photo and video. So the way it works is, if I'm shooting You can see it looks bluish because of the white balance that I chose, but then I finished shooting my, let's say this is what I was shooting, and now I want some high frame video. Instead of changing all these settings, all I need to do is to go to my mode, select C2, and now I've changed. I am now in high frame rate shooting, and you can confirm that by pressing info, and you can see it has changed. And that's simply how you set up your shooting modes. If you want to reset, basically erase whatever you've saved in C1, C2 or C3, you just go to clear settings, and you can clear the settings one at a time. So I'm going to clear that. The other thing you can do is update your settings in real time as you're shooting. So in this case, when you have auto update set to disable, it means that whatever tweaks you make while you're shooting will not be saved. So let's so that's disable, and when you enable, whatever shooting settings that you have tweaked while you're shooting will be saved as you go in your shooting modes, C1, C2 or C3, whichever one you're using. So you can see these settings. If I change something in real time, so let's look at this shutter speed, for example. If I change it while I'm shooting, let's say I've changed it to 60. If I go to C2, and if I then go back to C1, you see it has updated to 60. But if I have auto update off, so let's go back here and update and disable, go to menu. Now let's look at 1/60 is my shutter speed, and that's what's saved in C1. So let's say I decide to change this shutter speed to let's say 125, and then I come out of there, and then I go back to choosing my custom shooting modes. I choose another custom shooting mode, and then I go back to C1. You see it still says 60. It didn't change, it didn't update to the one that I had tweaked earlier. It goes back to whatever has been saved. So in short, if you want the camera to be saving your settings while you're shooting in any custom mode, make sure you have auto update set to enable. And if you don't want that to be enabled, you just want to make temporary changes, but you always want the camera to go back to saved settings, then disable. And that's it for today. Let me know what you think of custom shooting modes in the comment section. See you in the next video.